Welcome to First Parish Unitarian Universalist of Medfield. Welcome to any visitors, and welcome, of course, to those who are streaming in from home. We're so pleased you're here with us this morning. This congregation first gathered in 1651, settling on this land that was and is still now the homeland of the Nipmuc Nation, who inhabited this area for thousands of years. Their land was taken by force, and their lives were oppressed by the European colonists who settled this town, this state, this nation. But despite this brutal atrocity, Nipmuc descendants continue to live here today. As Unitarian Universalists, we are called to name the wrongs committed against Indigenous people and to work to dismantle the systems of oppression that continue to harm Indigenous people today. Holding all of this in our hearts, we welcome you. We welcome you to this place. Here we search for truth and understanding. Here we celebrate life and we contemplate its mysteries. Here we share healing and wholeness. So whoever you are, whatever you believe, whomever you love, we welcome you to this congregation. Friends, this morning we gather. This morning we begin again. This morning we launch into a new shared ministry. This morning we begin our unique waters that we bring to connect with one another. Waters from near and far, waters from rivers and streams and oceans, perhaps even waters from your kitchen tap. These waters have been brought together here to this sacred home, where we'll be joined together with our friends' water, joined together to promote life, to promote growth and renewal. We may not know where these combined waters will take us, but together may they unite to form mighty streams and rivers leading to new lands of love and compassion. Friends, let us worship together.
This morning's chalice lighting is The Spirit of Water by Katie Sivani Gelfand. We light this chalice as a symbol of reunion. We reunite in the sanctuary to share the flow of our hearts with one another. We gather together in ritual to celebrate our fountains of joy, to hold each other through storms of grief, to guide one another through rapids of transformation, to rest together on ponds of stillness. Together, we honor the spirit of water, its many forms, and its life-giving essence.
As a reminder, we created our congregational covenant, and each Sunday we will always read the first two lines and one of the other lines. So today I would invite you to rise in body or in spirit, and today we will read lines 1, 2, and 3 together. Love is the foundation and spirit of our congregation, and we declare that every person is inherently worthy and has the right to flourish with dignity. As people of goodwill, we covenant with one another to explore our values freely and honor our diversity of beliefs and experiences as sources of strength. Now please remain standing while we sing our opening hymn. It's number 361, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In. Be seated. The water communion ceremony that we'll be participating in a few minutes has a history to it, and I want you all to understand, some of you may have heard this before, but why we do this ritual. So this all started back in 1980. The Women in Religion Continental Convocation of Unitarian Universalists, the woman who was part of that, Lucille Shuck Longview, and her good friend Carolyn McDade, they created this InGathering water ceremony that we, and I'd say probably most UU churches across the country, celebrate today, the first service after Labor Day. For McDade and Longview, the waters that 8 of the conference's participants brought forward, they brought forward this to a communal vessel, much like the one we have. It symbolized that from all the corners of North America, women were fighting for the same rights and equality and the same things that men have. They were there to fight for women's empowerment. So this morning, we use this uniquely Unitarian Universalist ritual for a similar purpose. Even though many of you left over the summer, you went to camps perhaps, and vacations, and hikes, and many adventures. Today we rejoice that we're back together again. We bring water today, as you were invited to do, from many of our travels, from the places we visited, symbolizing the ultimate unity of this community by putting these waters together into a shared vessel. This ritual symbolizes that the mission of this congregation of building a community and a world that is more just and more equitable and more peaceful, and to remind us that this mission is carried on even when we're not all gathered together as we are today, as one community of love and service. So in a moment, if you've brought water to contribute to this ritual, you're invited to silently come forward with your contribution as Eva plays some music and tell us briefly where your water is from. And not to worry, if you didn't bring water, we have a pitcher of water here that you can share where you went, as this water can be a symbol of where you visited. And then after this service, this mixed water brought by so many of you will be purified and used in any future child dedications and an ongoing cycle of the life of this congregation. And I'd actually ask that the children of the congregation, led by Kate, do I still see Kate? Oh, there she is, okay. To come to the front of the line. I'd like the children with Kate to come first, and then behind them, everyone else can line up and tell us where your water came from. I'd invite you to all come forward now. My water comes from Lonesome Lake in the White Mountains during our hike.
Our water, our water actually just comes from our home, but we had a wonderful summer together and did many fun things, so we blessed it together. Do you want Malcolm to go next? Or you want us to go next? Malcolm, do you have one? Where's your water? Randy, but you want to talk about where you were? Okay, turn around and face everybody. What did you do?
I went to Maine.
Awesome. He doesn't, yeah, good. All right, tell everyone where you went with this water.
I went to the pool today, and that's where I got my water.
Nice. What do you want to know?
We went to Maine as a family, and this is tap water, symbolic of that.
This symbolizes water from my parents' new drilled well in Maine.
This water symbolizes 2 trips to Ferry Beach in Maine.
Representing the warm Atlantic waters off of Florida.
This water from our kitchen sink represents water from Lake Schwerin in Germany.
This water is a combo of ocean water from the coast of Maine and Cape Cod, Lonesome Lake, and ponds at Tanglewood.
This water is a sangria of water from Maine, from Farm Pond, from Massachusetts Bay in the Atlantic Ocean.
This water is from New Silver Beach in Falmouth.
This is from Aquina Beach in Martha's Vineyard.
Our water is from Kelsey's new home in Franklin, her favorite place to be now.
This water is from Tuckernuck Island, our family's ancestral home.
Water is symbolic from Higgins Beach, Maine. Chimney Corners Camp, where Maeve swam a lot, and the Virgin Islands, where Bernard and Finn sailed around with the Boy Scouts.
This water is virtual water from Highland Lake in our backyard, which we enjoy daily.
Virtual water north to south from Ferry Beach, East Ham, Long Island, and Skaneateles, New York, and Rebecca being in Oregon right now, Pacific.
And water from visiting family in Seattle, Victoria, and Colorado. So this is from Lake Washington, the Straits of Juan de Fuca, and the Big Thompson River, which is actually pretty small.
Oh, what words to say to bless this water when it's already been blessed by all of you. It's been blessed by your journeys, blessed by the connections you've had with family and friends, blessed by our tears, our laughter. This water is a very real reminder as the summer days wane and we prepare ourselves for the coming cold, that all of those memories we shared over the summer are with us. So let us together bless this water. And with that, we all say, Amen. Now I'd invite Dewey to come forward and share with us the morning's reading.
Brought myself a water because Rev Dave gave me Moby Dick. Herman Melville was raised in a strict Calvinist branch of Christianity, and then later in life, much like many of you, became Unitarian. This morning's reading is an excerpt from the first page of his masterpiece, Moby Dick, written in 1851. Call me Ishmael. Some years ago, never mind how long precisely, having little or no money in my purse, and nothing particular to interest me on the shore, I thought I would sail about a little and see the watery part of the world. It is a way I have of driving off the spleen and regulating the circulation, whenever I find myself growing grim about the mouth, whenever it is damp, drizzly November in my soul, whenever I find myself involuntarily pausing before coffin warehouses, bringing up the rear of every funeral I meet, especially when my hypos get such an upper hand of me that it requires a strong moral principle to prevent me from deliberately stepping into the street and methodically knocking people's hats off. Then, I count it high time to get to sea as soon as I can. This is my substitute for pistol and ball. With a philosophical flourish, Cato throws himself upon his sword. I quietly take to the ship. There is nothing surprising in this. But they knew it. Almost all men, in their degree, sometime or other, cherish the very nearly the same feelings towards the ocean with me. But look, here comes more crowds, pacing straight for the water and seemingly bound for a dive. Strange. Nothing will content them but the extreme limit of the land. Loitering under the shady lee of yonder warehouses will not suffice. No. They must just as nigh the water as they possibly can without falling. And there they stand, miles of them, leagues, inlanders all, They come from lanes and alleys, streets, avenues, north, east, south, and west. Yet here they all unite. Tell me, does the magnetic virtue of the needle of the compass of all these ships attract them thither? Once more, say you are in the country, in some high land of lakes. Take almost any path you please, and 10 to 1 it carries you down a dale and leaves you by a pool in the stream. There is magic in it. Let the most absent-minded of men be plunged in his deepest reveries. Stand that man on his legs, set his feet a-going, and he will infallibly lead you to water, if water there be at all in that region. Should you ever be athirst in the great American desert, try this experiment, if your caravan happens to be supplied with a metaphysical professor. Yes, as everyone knows, meditation and water are wedded forever.
Thank you, Dewey. For me, the ocean has always been a magical place, a place that calls to me in a way that I can't quite describe. Since I was 2, I spent my summers going to Ferry Beach along the shores in Maine. My wife and I, 18 years ago, chose to purchase a home in Quincy, just a few blocks from the ocean. Many mornings I'll go down to the ocean and walk or ride my bike. When I decided where I was going to go to college, I went to Salem. And honestly, it had a wonderful program, but I did really appreciate being so close to the ocean as well. And it was then, in my early 20s, that I went through my classics stage. I decided, gee, there's some books out there that are pretty darn good, and I'm going to read a bunch of them. And when I read that first page of Moby Dick, I was hooked. I was hooked. The thought of Ishmael going down to the water, about to go off on a journey, it spoke to me in a very deep sense. There was always something that I could relate to. I love the culture of Salem, the old salties who'd been out fishing, there at the bar at 6, 7 o'clock at night telling stories. The waitresses who are a little too outspoken, perhaps. The adventure. When Herman Melville writes, "But look, here comes more crowds pacing straight for the water and seemingly bound for a dive. It's strange. They must just get nigh as water as they possibly can without falling. And there they stand, miles of them. Say you're in the country in some high land of lakes. Take almost any path you please, and 10 to 1, it carries you down to a dale and leaves you there by a pool in the stream. There's magic in it." Water for so many of us represents freedom, new possibilities, sailing across the seas. In a time before airplanes, of course, ocean travel was the way to get a great distance away from where you had been living. But people have been gathering at beaches and ponds and lakes as well. Why? There isn't that same adventure, perhaps, when you're going a mile across a pond or a lake. But certainly, it calls to us in a deeper sense. I had an experience like this when we were, as a church, 8 of us went and hiked in the White Mountains, and we got up to Lonesome Lake, a beautiful lake, beautiful lake. And I woke up at dawn, and I sat out there, and something about that experience just called to me. Perhaps this yearning, this longing we feel when we stand at the edge of the water is our primordial souls somehow remembering where we came from when we lived in the water. Remembering that the water used to be our home before we crawled out into the cold, dry land. I wonder. Perhaps it reminds us of the safety we all felt before we were born. when we were surrounded by the nurturing, warm water of our mother's womb, before we were cast forth into this somehow bright and dry world that we inhabit. So friends, we return to water again and again. It has this way of washing us clean. Many faith traditions have a ceremonial cleansing before you enter the temple, the church, the synagogue, where you'll ceremoniously clean your hands and your face, and you will cast away the grief, the pain of the day, so that you can be here in your full selves. Something about that tradition always spoke to me. This renewal and recharging is especially important today when there seems to be so many things in our world that are unsettling, that cause us grief, anger, pain. Returning to water, as so many of us did over the summers, and as so many of us will continue to do, it's a way for just a while to let that go, to wash ourselves clean. So friends, as we begin this new church year together, let's remember that. There will be times ahead where we as a congregation, we as a town, as a country, will face things that are difficult. But we're always able to return to the water, return to places like this, return to our communal water that we're bringing together. And remember that we'll get through all this together, no matter what comes. So may it be. Amen. Let us pause now for a time of silent meditation and reflection. Oh, Spirit of life, Spirit of love, this morning we're so grateful for the gentle rain to nourish the earth, to water our thirsty lawns and gardens. So grateful for returning to this community that is both familiar and sacred. We're so grateful for seeing one another, sharing a smile, perhaps a hug. We're so grateful that following the service, we get to share a meal and catch up with one another. We're so grateful for the support and love that we can provide one another, especially when things are challenging. So this morning, if nothing else, let's live into gratitude. Amen. Now I'd invite forward Don Rolfe to introduce our offering.
Well, good morning. I'm Don Rolfe. I'm co-chair of the annual fund drive. And the annual fund drive usually introduces the offering each service. We've all come together from our adventures and joys this summer and symbolically shared them in our water service. We are now here in community and will share our joys of community as the year progresses. As I keep mentioning, the community rests on three things. It rests on you. It rests on what you do, and it rests on how we support the community financially. Today this month, we will be splitting our offering with those who are less joyful than us with the Medfield Coalition on Suicide Awareness. We hope you will be generous. Thank you so much for your contributions.
Please rise in body or in spirit for our closing hymn. It is number 1064, Blue Boat Home. It's in your teal hymnal.
Mountains and plains, far away from home.
Friends, as we prepare to leave this sacred space, go in love, go in joy, go in the peace, knowing that the nurturing waters of our world will wash us clean again and again. So as we venture forth, carry with you a piece of the preciousness of this morning. Go in peace. Amen. I will now extinguish our chalice, but may its light and warmth stay with us until we meet again. Here ends our worship. Let our service begin.